Hello everyone, welcome back. I have returned from months of endlessly scrolling through content to bring you some content you can watch while endlessly scrolling. You ever be like, damn, VR seems pretty cool. I wonder if the Index is a good place to get into it. Well, today I'm here to tell you that the answer is probably not, but this is a phenomenal headset, and the reasons why this isn't a great headset to start out with aren't what you think. The Index has two 1440 by 1600 displays with a 120 refresh rate and an experimental 144 Hz refresh rate with an approximate 108 degree FOV. Look, if you guys want to know the technical stuff, Valve has a great spec sheet on their website. I'm more interested in the experience of the headset, how it actually feels to use. All you really gotta know is that it's pretty damn good. Unless you're a total VR snob that only goes for the very best pixel density, you won't be disappointed. What's really important here is to know how the headset actually feels to wear and play. Two of the standout features that really make this headset great are the very impressive microphone and headphones. The mic is just... oh boy, it is just really nice, especially coming from the Rift S's absolute robo mic.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're showing off...
It's crisp, reliable, and my friends can't even tell when I join a Discord call in VR versus my regular mic.
How's Tarkov going?
Oh, does it sound like it's going great?
Yes.
I want to fucking myself.
The headphones are also phenomenal. While my only comparison points are the PSVR and the Rift S, I can confidently say that the Index's headphones are miles above what those systems can offer. And from what I've heard from those with much more VR experience than me, this system has one of, if not the best audio solutions in a VR headset. Even without touching the ears, the near-field earphones are just straight up phenomenal. Like, if Valve made a gaming headset with the Index microphone and speakers, I'd just buy it immediately. Phenomenal. There are also some really interesting features on the Index that set it apart from other headsets. And I can talk all day about how premium the materials of the headset are, or the surprisingly comfortable design despite being 2 pounds, or the highly intuitive nature of the controllers and their insane individual finger tracking and grip strength tracking, or just how absurdly sexy the design of the headset itself is, and how it just looks really nice as a set piece for a room. And all those things are very, very much true, but all you really gotta know is this. This is my son, and I love him very much. This is the USB Frunk, where I could put a face tracking module, hotkeys, or even an exhaust fan. But I've opted to use it to give my headset a stupid little face. It's completely useless and makes the headset noticeably hotter, but hey, it looks cool, so I did it. But there's something to be said about a company that allows that sort of customization, especially on cutting-edge products like the Index. It's very clear that any company that releases a product with features like this, with so much practical and memeable use, even if it's completely unnecessary, cares deeply about their products down to the fairly niche details. It shows in their games, and it transfers pretty much perfectly to their hardware, but let's ignore that one. We don't talk about that one. I'm not gonna lie. There are some significant downsides to this headset. I'm not just gonna sit here and praise Valve. This is not a perfect VR headset. The outside-in tracking with the base stations is accurate, absolutely, and is better than inside-out tracking for sure, but that might be a bit annoying for some players that have to set up little cubes around their house. Not to mention, the Index is missing some features that you'd hope to see on a headset as pricey as this one. Like, it doesn't have eye or face tracking. Well, you can make it have face tracking for the low price of $129.99, but that's kinda redundant without eye tracking, since it looks really creepy. Also, if you're a zoomer like me and haven't had your ability to hear high-pitched noises obliterated by old age, you're not going to want to keep these base stations on 24/7 like they're set to as default, cause it will drive you insane. But the biggest thing you should be aware of is quality control issues. I should make it abundantly clear that these problems are not as common as a lot of people make them out to be, and most of the Index users I talk to have pretty much no issues with it. Also, the 1-year warranty that comes with the headset is pretty damn comprehensive, so as long as you're using the headset in a semi-normal manner and not taking a hammer to it, you should be fine. I mean, the people I've seen complain most about these issues do stuff like this with them. So, take that as you will. Yeah, okay. So, remember that last paragraph? This video was actually meant to come out in January, but my Index's right eye decided that the day before I was going to record was the perfect time to go and do this. Yup. So between that and my momentum on this project kinda coming to a halt is the reason why this video is, like, way too late. But that's besides the point. Despite being extremely annoying and proving that Valve's quality control needs some serious work, this gives me the opportunity to tell you that if you do end up having a headset that does a little fucky-wucky like mine did, then you can rest assured that the support is surprisingly good. Although, I guess that shouldn't come as a surprise, since Valve's Steam support is also top-notch. But good to know that transfers over to the hardware side of things too. I got my replacement headset even before the Index came back in stock on the NA Steam page, and got some bonus stuff out of it too, since it just came in a retail package. So there you go, back to the rest of the video then. Alright Macro, this sounds like a pretty good all-around headset, but how much does it cost? I'm so glad you asked, Macrolith. Well, the controllers themselves are $280 dues, so if you're in the market for some new controllers for PC VR, just get these instead of shelling out almost the same price for the more durable, but worse, HTC Vive ones. Now, what does this overall extremely impressive package cost? One goddamn grand. Christ. Well, I guess this is a good lead into the value versus the competition. Now, let me just say right off the bat, to anyone saying that the Quest 2 is just better than the Index or vice versa,
shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
These headsets are each for a very different type of VR user. One is for someone who wants a nearly no-holds-barred VR experience, and someone who already has a pretty beefy PC. The other is for someone who wants to take their headset anywhere and have a cheap, but still very quality time in VR, while also being able to squeeze a little extra juice out of it if they got a decent PC. A while back, Thrillseeker made a comparison between the two headsets using cars as an analogy. It's a great analogy, but in my opinion, the comparison itself was a little off. It's like a Nissan 370Z to a Ferrari California. Both are absolute beasts of a car, but they have their specific audiences. You can take a 370Z pretty much anywhere, and it will still work just fine with basically no issues. It's a car your grandma could use, and you wouldn't be worried about it being too much for her. You can mod it to hell and back, and it's more than fast enough for most people. But if it's not, you can hook up a turbo to it, or a USB-C cable connected to a decent PC, and get some more juice out of it. On the other hand, the California is without a doubt faster, more luxurious, has tighter controls, and it can also be modded pretty well, albeit with a bit of a higher cost. It's also just more of a wow car. It'll catch more eyes and you'll feel better driving it. But, as with most things, there are trade-offs. You're probably not going to want to take that California anywhere but nice, smooth roads. A lot of people aren't going to appreciate the extra speed, let alone need it. At least not when it costs over 3 times as much as the competition. And not to mention, it's more prone to breaking, and when it does break outside of warranty, it might cost as much as the 370Z just to fix. Again, both are fantastic headsets. They're just built for different VR users. Now, I can't talk about the Quest 2 without mentioning the obligatory all-seeing eye of Daddy Meta and his all-consuming metaverse. But it's very unlikely that Meta is going to use that data for anything more than sending you creepily accurate ads. But if you're not ready for the Zuck to be able to map out your house through your headset, I don't know, put a blanket over it or something while you're not using it. It's just something you'll have to live with for getting that sort of bang for the buck with the Quest 2. But if you're looking for a cheaper mini index of sorts, I'd point you towards the HP Reverb 2. These bad boys can be found for shockingly low prices given what their specs are if you know where to look. It's got inside-out tracking that's been updated to be a whole lot better than it originally was, and a refresh of the product line also gave it a more comfy faceplate that gives you a wider FOV. It's a great option for anyone looking for a less pricey PC VR headset, somewhere in between the Index and the Q2. Now, for the part everyone's been waiting for. The very reason you buy one of these attachable face boxes. The games. The game pool for VR isn't nearly as limited as it used to be back when virtual reality was first becoming a decently sized thing. You've got good, well-established games from pretty much every genre now. So, if you're new, you're gonna have a shit ton of games to go through before you can join the rest of the VR community in impatiently waiting for more titles to drop. The first ones I'm gonna mention here are Gorn and Blade and Sorcery. Both are great melee-focused VR games that make you feel like a horrible person while still wanting to play more. I recommend both. Gorn for the more brutal but arcadey experience, and Blade and Sorcery for its more realistic combat and insane modding community around it. If you want to be a Jedi in VR, BNS is where it's at. Then, of course, we have our rhythm games, like Beat Saber and Pistol Whip. Grab Pistol Whip if you're trying to feel like John Wick in VR, and get Beat Saber for its solid community and, again, insane modding support. Actually made a whole video on that one. Absolutely one of my all-time favorite games. You know that distinct period of the 360 Xbox Live days when everyone was on mic? How when you got into a game, you didn't know if you were going to meet a group of super chill people or get called the N-word multiple times from some kids that got hit on the head a few too many times? Yeah, VR multiplayer games are exactly like that.
Alright, who's going first? Oh, you're lucky. I'll go second. Oh, we're lucky.
You guys want to play with a 50
No, we're playing it right now.
You get to see that special time where an entertainment medium is in its infancy and is gaining popularity but hasn't been sanitized yet. Everyone is on proxy voice chat. Everyone is talking to each other. And what makes it even better is you get to see your teammates' body language and they can gesture just like you were actually there. Like in Pavlov, I've seen anything from people using tactical gestures to point out where enemies are or coordinate attacks silently, to getting dabbed on when I get killed. I actually had a man kill me, stop, put away their weapon, hit the whip, and then go back to killing. God, I wish I recorded that. There's just something so much more personal about the interactions in VR that make it so special. It just adds another level of like, damn, I'm actually here doing this. Like, when I was playing the DayZ zombie survival mode in Pavlov and I made friends with like 6 or 7 people. And instead of killing each other, we just went up on a roof and had a party. One of the things that came up while we were talking was how long we'd been playing VR. One guy went on a long tangent about how when you remember VR games, you don't think like, yeah, I was playing this one game and I was executing these crazy combos. Nah, dude. It feels like you're actually there when you remember it. You were sitting on top of a building with a bunch of weirdos popping zannies and shooting anyone that wasn't down to party. It's a special kind of feeling. If that doesn't sound like a good time, I don't know what does. As for games that take social interaction to the next level, stuff like VRChat and Neos VR are where it's at. I had no idea talking to random strangers about nothing could be so much fun until I played VRChat. And because of the Kyogre virus and the lovely Omni variant that came along, I ended up spending my New Year's in my bedroom. But funnily enough, it was probably one of the most fun New Year's I've had in a long time. Why was that? Because VRC made massive high-capacity worlds that we could all use to count down and ring in the new year as anime women, furries, and stale memes. It's honestly insane how much easier social interaction becomes when you can choose to be whatever you want to, and if a convo isn't working, you can just leave. It also becomes easier to make friends, some of which even sub to the channel during the New Year's party. So to you guys, thank you and welcome to the channel. VRChat really is just a different breed of communication. Oh yeah, speaking of different breed, yeah, I guess Half-Life Alyx and Boneworks are here too. What? Look, what do you want me to say about these games? If you're watching this video, you've heard people talk about these games before. You want me to blabber on about how amazing they are? Because they are. That's it. Now get out of my face, damn! From a humble toaster's perspective, VR, and especially systems like the Valve Index pushing the medium forward, really are the future of gaming. If you're rightly wondering why I spent about 800 words of this video talking about the games you can play instead of the Index itself, well, it's because if you're watching this video, there's a decent chance you're looking at getting into VR yourself. At least, judging from the massive jump in sales last year. And I think people should know not just the simple pros and cons of each headset, but what VR itself has to offer in terms of actual experiences. And the more I dive into it, the more amazed I am by what so many devs and players alike have created with all these phenomenal games and communities surrounding them. I guess my point is, while the Valve Index is, yeah, something special, just getting into it with any of these headsets I mentioned here, you're gonna love it. From the smallest Quest connoisseur to the beefiest Vario enjoyer, you're gonna enjoy your time here. Hello everyone, and welcome to the end of another one of these something special videos. I am really glad that I finally got this out, and I really do apologize for the wait between my last big video and this one. But, you know, stuff happens. I do plan on doing this more often now, and I hope you stick around to see what I got to offer. Peace out, bros.